Yeah, cheers. Yes, you're an alcoholic. Go down a little rough?
It was a tall boy. It's that extra 4 ounces makes a huge difference. Woo! Welcome back to another episode of Two Drunk Guys on a Football Podcast. I am your host, Skinny Domestic, and then, as you guys can see, and if you're listening, Marcus the Hammer Mary is not here today. He is currently god-awfully sick and could not do it. He can barely talk. So, we bring you our Aaron Rodgers of the show,
Heck yeah, dude.
Austin.
Oh. It's only fitting. He is starting for me this week, so
Yeah, but we have a good episode. We mid-season NFL. A lot of we had the trade deadline end yesterday, so a lot of stuff happened. Go over last week's games, college and NFL. Bad betting. Then we're gonna go over like mid-season MVP, offensive rookie of the year, those type of things. If the season ended today, who do you think would get it? I just have some fantasy MVPs currently, guys that are popping off for what they were, and then do our pick'ems. So, to get started, we do have a sponsorship officially with a beard company. Marcus and I rock the beards. We got to keep those beards nice and smooth. So, well-groomed beard is a sign of confidence. That's why we partner with Moose's Beard Company. They're all natural beard oil and balm, hydrates, softens, and conditions your beard, leaving it looking like it's the best ever. Real reviews show that it works great. Some would say it's the best beard oil on the market. Visit the link below that we'll have underneath this in the comment section, or search Moose's Beard Company on Etsy, and then use the code 2DrunkGuys to experience the difference. With that, again, Two Drunk Guys, if you search it, if you follow the link, it'll automatically put any discounts on there for you. But yeah, if you got those beards, some say it's the best.
we're leveling up. I gotta get some beard oil, so
You got a way to go. First off, we'll get into news here. This happened, I think, Thursday after the pod release, like right before the game. Alan Lazard was placed on IR for a chest injury, so... Yeah,
really?
Yeah, it's been that long. Nobody even knows.
That was quiet.
Yeah.
No idea.
Yeah. I think it happened like right before the Thursday night game, maybe a couple hours before. Or right after, I don't remember. Wednesday, Thursday it was released, but yeah, it wasn't really talked about. Garrett Wilson shot up there for it. Next, we have Dennis Allen fired. Saints head coach was fired.
Big shocker.
Should have been fired last week. I know a large part of it. I mean, Derek Carr, your starting quarterback's 2-1 right now. The other losses are having backups and a lot of injuries, but he's just not it. You can't lose to the Panthers in a game like that with having your starting quarterback. So,
Olave can't stay healthy, and then who do you have after that?
Well, and with that too, it's your quarterback's throwing Olave into dangerous situations. So, that Saints team is a dumpster fire right now, and I think they might be the worst team in the league if Olave can't play. And
for sure,
I'm kind of shocked that they didn't. I know they don't have a whole lot of cap room. I'm kind of shocked they didn't try to trade away more. We'll go over one of their trades, but try to trade more and open up some cap space and bring in just anyone.
Yeah,
Jarvis Landry was probably a better option for the other side, and he.
If you were going to trade Marshawn Lattimore, you should have tried and got some receiver capital from it.
Yeah.
There's no. They traded him for a 4th-round pick, and it's like, has Lattimore been playing bad this season? No, they wanted a draft pick. That's honestly probably what it was.
Yeah, going into that, they did trade Marshawn Lattimore for Marshawn Lattimore and a 5th round for the Commanders' 3rd, 4th, and then they get their 6th back from a previous trade they had with them. I think most of everybody is just upset that we don't get to see Marshawn Lattimore and Mike Evans twice a year now.
Yeah, pretty
That's
much.
the worst part. But it does open cap space. I mean, he was probably one of their higher paid. Didn't really look into it, but they're one of those teams that have been minus $70 million the last 4 years. It
Yeah,
seems like so.
the Commanders are getting scary.
Yeah, the Commanders are. They did something too. I thought. Did I miss it? No, I maybe
I
I
think
don't
that was the
remember.
only big move that the
Vikings
Commanders have made.
place their kicker Will Ricard, and then their long snapper Andrew DePola on IR. So that's a
Did they get injured on the same play?
they must have or something. That's crazy.
Holy.
Texans trade defensive tackle Khalil Davis to the 49ers for a 2026 seventh round pick. If you're going for a seventh round, you're not really anything at this point. But I feel like after losing Hargrave,
Yeah, it's trying to fill that spot
that
pretty much.
49ers defense just hasn't that front line hasn't been as
They're
good as
trying
they
to just
usually
throw a
are.
body there pretty much.
Yeah, just add
So
some depth. Steelers trade for Preston Smith from the Packers. Dude, the Steelers killed the trade deadline yesterday with getting
but they
Preston
did
Smith.
exactly what we needed to do.
Yeah, you got it. You
It's
got another guy that can go get the quarterback, and then you traded for a wide receiver. They traded a 2025 fifth round for Mike Williams. We talked about it a little bit. Mike Williams is on the market. Clearly, you might as well go get him. I'm not saying
yeah,
Darius Slayton was on the market, but he's better than what you could have gotten for some teams, and
yeah,
the
for
Jets
sure.
wanted to get rid of him.
They
He
did
has no
exactly
role.
what we needed to do in free agency, which was supposed to go grab him. It's like he was
Yeah.
a big name. So
Well, and then basically you just have two guys that Russ can literally just throw the ball up to, and you can't do that every play, but you
yeah,
have two options now, and
it's gonna open up Fryermuth now. I think because then you can't fucking another option. Like
yeah,
there's
because
actual more
who is the
versatile
other
option.
receivers? Calvin Austin the third, and
Roman Wilson who can't stay
yeah,
healthy.
yeah, who can't? Yeah, very disappointing.
So now Wilson can sit in the slot, or not Wilson. Austin can sit in Calvin Austin can sit in the slot and just eat.
Yeah.
That's what he should be doing.
Bills
So
trade Khalil Herbert to the Bengals for a 2025 seventh round pick. Not a shocker there. Zach Moss,
kind of interesting.
I think Zach
I
Moss's
thought,
injury is going to be long term or rest of the season.
yeah,
So I feel like there's better running backs you could have went and got. Chase Brown's value
hundred
basically
percent.
is, I think, last week with Zach Moss out, not a single running back besides Chase Brown touched the ball. So yeah, his value in fantasy is insane now. Lions trades Darius Smith in the 2026 seventh round to the Browns, or from the Browns for
Yeah,
a 2025 fifth and a 2026 sixth. Got to replace Aiden
the Lions have
Hutchinson.
been itching for that trade.
Yeah,
They've wanted that.
they've been waiting for somebody to put a D end on the market that's worth it, and
Yeah,
Darius Smith can give you. I don't know how many sacks he has on the season, but you got what 8 games left. They haven't, or have they had their bye? They've already had their bye, so you got 9 games left.
yeah.
He'll probably give you 6 to 8 sacks if he, produces what he can.
He's definitely a good fit in, and even if you could keep him for a little longer, help him, coach up Hutch a little bit. I mean,
Yeah.
it always helps to learn from a veteran. So
Yep. Broncos extend Jonathan Cooper to a 4-year extension. I didn't get the numbers. That Broncos defense is good, so if you can keep some pieces,
I think
and
he got like 80 mil.
yeah, if you can keep those pieces, you might as well keep them if you can afford them. Uh,
Yeah,
Bengals tight end Eric All Jr. tore his ACL. That sucks because I was really he was a good piece for him. Came in and did what he needed to do. But two shockers. Rams traded Tre'Davious White and a 2027 seventh round pick to the Ravens for a 2026 seventh.
like
Former
why did they trade him?
Pro Bowl DB, and he's going for a seventh round pick.
The Rams are so. This is what's confusing about that. The Rams are a contending team. They must have just hated him or something. He must have done
He's
something
only
wrong.
29. It's not like he
Yeah,
is super old. I know maybe he's not. Let's see here. On the season so far, he's only started 4 games. I guess that he
That
hasn't
could
done.
be an issue.
He started 6, 4, and 4 the last 3 years. So I guess that kind of wow, he kind of fell off really hard once he left Buffalo. Like got to 26 and then fell off. He's had 2 pass deflections, no interceptions. Yeah, I guess he did
I
fall
hate that
off.
trade. I think he
I
still has more in the tank.
Yeah, and especially to a team like the Ravens, it's
That
like
just makes the Ravens way more scary.
it's like the
It's
Titans. It's like
absolutely.
the Titans trading D Hop to the Chiefs. Why? Why are you doing that?
You trade D Hop to a team that's already 7-0. Are you trying
The
to hand them a
Titans.
ring?
The Titans let Derrick Henry fall to the Ravens. Like everybody wants to give shit to the Giants for not re-signing Barkley and letting him go to the Eagles, but the
Yeah,
Titans allowed Derrick Henry to go to the Ravens, AJ Brown a couple years ago to go to the Eagles, and now D Hop to the Chiefs. What are you doing? If you're not going to compete, at
yeah,
least trade them to teams that haven't just won back-to-back Super Bowls, aren't favored to win in the AFC. Like, we're
yeah.
putting the blame on the wrong
It was.
people.
It is so just the Chiefs trade for DeAndre Hopkins is absolutely disgusting because it's like how are you going to trade to a team that has already won 7 games without a superstar receiver? Like their receiving core is
Make
depleted.
them lose. Force their hand. They have like,
Like,
and
so
then the
dumb. At
last,
least they could have tried to get more.
and then the last steal here is the Panthers trade Jonathan Mingo and a 7th rounder to the Cowboys for a 4th round. D Hop went for a 4th or 5th. Who else was traded? Mike Williams just went for a 5th. Jonathan
Jerry
Mingo,
Jones needs to
who
get
hasn't
out of there.
done anything, just went
Yeah,
for a 4th round pick. I get he's younger than all these guys, but that's Jerry Jones got finesse. Jerry Jones needs to get the fuck out. The Cowboys are done for. Um,
I don't know what I mean. Maybe they're looking at like, okay, he's a young receiver. He's got years to grow, right? But if he hasn't done anything, let alone the
even
fact
in
he has
college,
no quarterback.
he was never a number 1. He was always behind Malik Neighbors. Was number 4 when they had the the Brian Thomas and all, like the deep roster.
Jesus.
He was never.
Yeah.
He's a good receiver. Don't get me wrong. He's athletic and talented, but not worth that.
He's not. No, no.
Yeah, so that's all the news I have. There might be more that happened, I guess, with the election and everything. Other things have been on people's minds and
Yeah, for
involved.
sure.
Last week, just 4 games to go over. I guess I should have put your Steelers game in here. I guess I could talk about that too. But Eagles 28-23, Jags 23. I thought the Eagles were going to score 50 points that game, the way that game was going. And then our offense got stagnant, and you let Trevor Lawrence come back, and Nick Sirianni's making some weird play calls. Don't get it. I get the tush push didn't work 2 times. You're super short. It's a 90% or whatever the rating was for a reason. Just keep running it and it's gonna work. But Nakobe Dean did get his first interception to seal the game in the end
That
zone.
was yeah, I saw that.
Very,
Trevor
very
Lawrence just continues to make me so sad.
he he makes smart plays, and then shit like that where he throws it into coverage, thinking I think it was a running back that he threw it up on. Like it doesn't make any
Yeah,
sense.
Trevor Lawrence, you coming out of the draft, looks like such a pro-ready quarterback that it makes no sense to me, like what happened, because he's got the build, he had the accuracy. It's
He
like,
has wide receivers now. He's got talent
yeah,
around him. What's crazy to me is we talk about how Trevor Lawrence seems like he's ass all the time, but the dude
yeah,
is a fantasy relevant quarterback every year. It doesn't make any and he's not doing anything like Jameis, where Jameis was throwing 30 touchdowns and throwing 30 picks or just slinging the ball around. We look at
yeah,
Trevor Lawrence's game and are like, dude, you're kind of ass, but you're number 12 fantasy quarterback. Like, you don't think he's doing as well as he is, at least in fantasy, just based off of his gameplay. But it's
yeah.
up there, I guess.
You need him to feed Brian Thomas.
Panthers upset the Saints easily, an upset 23-22. My key of that game was Michael Thomas was tweeting during the game, talking shit
Hmm.
about Derek Carr. I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah. How is he not getting picked up? That's
because he's a reception merchant. He relies on and I think his injuries just, he tried to come back from the toe, then he'd get injured again, and it's just
Yeah.
not worth the time or money if you're gonna give me, like Julio Jones. I mean, if you're gonna get hurt all the time and not worth our time anymore.
Well, you know what's
Uh,
funny that a stat that I saw after the game was Bryce Young's won, I think, four or so games. First time he ever took a knee was that game.
oh wow,
First time he had ever been in victory formation. It's the funniest thing ever.
that's
But
well, it's been a long time deserved. Just coming from Bama and doing that often, and then you gotta man that's so disheartening. I wonder I wonder what the stat would look like for some of those like early round team like guys that went to like the Browns and a few other Panthers. How long it took for them to finally do a knee? That would be interesting to figure out.
yeah.
See here, Falcons 27, Cowboys 21. That score doesn't even represent how that game went. They had garbage time
Mm-mm.
touchdown. The Falcons completely destroyed. Dak got injured. He might be missing some time now. Cowboys are done. They're
Dude,
done. They're
I like the rush going in at quarterback so much more than Dak, but I think that this is also the time, though. You got to throw Trey Lance in there. You got to let him play. There's no doubt in my mind that it's time to move on from Dak, and even though you just paid him this buttload contract, which still makes
you can't
zero
move on
sense.
from him, but you need to. I agree. You need to play Trey Lance to let him one be a off season trade package quarterback potentially, or two if you're like, all right, he can do something at least. When Dak, the problem with signing these quarterbacks is you have Dak for another 4 years at roughly
Hmm.
close to $60 million. Nobody's going to want to pay Dak that amount of money besides Jerry
I
Jones.
and
And
Yeah, it needs to be a restructure and try to dish. Like,
yeah,
I
it's not
mean,
like
if
Watson where the Browns need to be like Watson. We will restructure your contract and we'll pay you $15 million for the next X amount of years as long as it takes to pay you off, type thing like
and
that.
just get off my
Yeah,
team.
that's what needs to happen with Deshaun. But Dak, you can't do that. Dak still can win you games, but that I think the Cowboys are done for the season. They're just injuries. You lost a lot of your defense, which I knew was gonna show coming into the
Yeah,
season. But yeah, that score doesn't even reflect how bad the Falcons just dominated
Kirko
that game.
balled.
Vikings 21-10 Colts. That first half of that game was fucking atrocious. I almost turned it off and didn't want to watch it again. But Darnold had 3 passing touchdowns in the second half. They popped off. So many flags, so many turnovers, just bad football for that first half. I was shocked by it. And then for you, since you're on, let's see here.
The Steelers did not play.
Oh, they didn't play. Yeah, they had a bye week. All
No,
right,
they
it
were
worked
on bye
out. Well,
week.
they won the bye
I
week.
was gonna let you go. Yeah, they
Yeah,
won
yeah.
they won the bye
I
week.
know that too because I just like changed Najee into my lineup in one of my dynasties, so
Yeah.
I knew that he like it wasn't hitting. College football. A
Oh,
lot of
fun.
lot of upsets this week. We had Texas Tech upsets number 11 Iowa State 23-22. Man, Iowa State is annoying. Texas Tech seems like every time that we play Texas Tech, it's like their Super Bowl against Iowa State. Uh, the defense just could not stop the pass, and then the run. Having that 3 front lineman thing has its perks, but when you can't stop the run, then you let the pass happen, and we just had crucial drops, key moments.
Texas Tech chooses when it wants to be good.
Yeah, yeah,
100%.
and Iowa State still has a chance at the Big 12 title. They just have to win out, and then right now it's BYU. BYU's undefeated. Colorado and Iowa State are both one-loss teams. I think BYU and Colorado have the 2 easiest schedules. So Iowa State, I think, has one more. They played Kansas State the last week, so if they can win out, they have the shot at that Big 12. But they have to win out and beat Kansas State, which that'll be a huge thing there.
That's If you
Number four, Ohio State defeats Penn State 20-13. Game was a lot closer than I expected it to be. I only got to watch part of it.
will
Penn,
Penn State ever beat a good team? Like,
no, they're like Notre Dame. They're the exact. Right now, I think Notre Dame and Penn State are expected to play each other, and I'm like, that score is going to be like 0-0 because they can't fucking score and beat actual other teams. So that
yeah.
game would be it'd probably be a very high scoring game just because I think of it. But
I just saw something that said Aller was going to be a top 10 pick, and I thought that that was the dumbest thing I think I've ever seen because I've not seen him produce literally
no,
anything.
right now I think Sanders, Cam Ward are like the two for sure top 10. Even though I don't think Sanders should be a top 10, he's probably going to be.
It's
And
just
then
name value.
Cam Ward has looked super good. So, and he's more of a NFL built quarterback, I think. So, I think those two for sure top
Yeah.
10. Minnesota upsets Illinois 25-7. Number 21 Illinois 25-17. Um, Big Ten football can't really in the revenge matchup. Don't know what else to say about that. Illinois beats Michigan, but then loses this game. Houston upsets number 17 Kansas State 24-19. That's big for the Big 12 playoff picture. Just in terms of Kansas State now has 2 losses in the division, or in the conference, so they really have to rely on Iowa State and Colorado to just fuck up these next 4 weeks, and they'd have to beat Iowa State too in that loss. South Carolina upsets number 10 Texas A&M 44-20. Texas A&M is one of those teams that one week they're good, the next week they're shit. So just avoid them at all costs for any possible thing. Louisville upsets number 11 Clemson 33-21.
Oh,
Man, right when Clemson I think was like, all right, Clemson, you're back a little bit, like you're comfortably back, and think you're gonna be fine. They do this shit. Just
yeah, I don't know what happens with Cade Klubnik, but when it's time to show up and blow somebody out, he doesn't want to do it.
Yeah, especially Louisville, who has maybe 4 wins on the season, has not been very good this year. Okay, lastly, or I guess 2 more. 20 SMU defeats Pitt, 18 Pitt, 48-25. SMU is looking pretty decent. Might want to watch them a little bit. And then Iowa defeats Wisconsin, 42-10. Iowa changes quarterback. This dropped 40 points the last 2 weeks. Look pretty good.
Iowa scoring 40 points.
Yeah.
This is unheard of.
Changed their quarterback, and everything's been great for them. So, moving in the right direction for them. Should have changed the quarterback a little bit sooner, but didn't happen. Bad betting. Another good week in bad betting. 4-0 last week. So if you parlayed with them, you're welcome. On the year, we're 22-14 overall with our picks. Right now, if you were to bet, it depends on how you do it. If you were betting $10 every time, and then with the wins, and if you did I do the weekly, you bet $10, the risk-free bet, and then you use that $10 for the next week's games. So I'm out only $30, roughly. You're up anywhere from $320 to $350, depending on how you do that. Not bad on the season so far. I know it's not crazy good, but not bad. At least the last 4 weeks.
It's a winning record.
Yeah.
It's a winning record.
Winning record, and if you parlay them, the last 3 out of the 4 weeks we've hit. So in 4 weeks you could be up. If you bet $40, you only lost once in the last 4 weeks. You're even, you're up that full almost 380. So this week we're doing the Bills minus 4.5 against the Colts. I just think the Bills are looking good offensively and rolling. I know Keon Coleman probably isn't going to play. Amari Cooper should be back.
What happened with Keon Coleman?
He got hurt last week in the game. I don't remember if it was. I don't think it was. Maybe it was a concussion.
Yeah. I gotta text my father.
Jets minus 1.5 against the Cards. I think the Jets figured out their offense and defense a little bit, and plus they gotta win out. They can only afford to lose 1 game, and it can't be to the Cards.
I didn't even think they can.
They
I
have.
don't think they can.
They'd finish the season 10. If they win out, they'd finish the season 10-7 6 or whatever, like you have to win out
And then
or
7, yeah.
10, yeah,
They'd be
whatever.
playing it risky.
Yeah, 10 because they're 3-6 now, right?
Yeah, so they could if they win 11 games, so say if they win out, they'd be
Yeah,
11 and
yeah,
6.
yeah. So they have to win. They can afford to maybe lose one game. I'm going to take the Eagles -7 against the Cowboys, especially if Dak is not going to even if Dak plays, I still might consider it. But if
Yeah,
Dak doesn't play, give me that -7. And then
100%.
lastly, I'm going to take the Falcons -3.5 versus the Saints. The Falcons are rolling. Saints are beat up. No, they have no receivers potentially. Give me the Falcons on that. If you want to bet that in a parlay, $10 would pay about 125. Again, those odds are subject to change because I just make these bets, and it's probably a little bit different maybe on each platform, but it's going to be pretty close to all that. Moving on, we're going to do our mid-season. If the season were to end today, you good?
Yeah.
Oh, you were like you were looking at me weird.
Well, it's
It,
because you had like frozen for a second. I was like,
if the season were to end today, who would we be giving like the MVP, the awards to, season awards? I don't know how deep you went into. Like, did you do all the awards or like what did you do? I know it was kind of last
I
second.
can I can come up with it like that,
Okay.
honestly, just from watching. So
Okay. So MVP currently, I have Josh Allen winning MVP like first mid season. Like if the season's today, I think Josh Allen deserves that MVP finally.
yeah, I was like, if I was honestly between him and like Henry, honestly, Henry's been balling out, and so if but Josh Allen's playing the best football of his life, so I'm honestly probably gonna give it to Josh Allen.
Yeah, I it's a quarterback award. It's just like the Heisman. Typically, it's going to go to a
Yeah,
quarterback. Right now, Josh Allen's currently 10th in passing yards, which I think is he's. I did not expect that to happen with the wide receivers that he had. I just felt like
yeah,
he's fourth in total touchdowns or passing touchdowns. He only has 2 interceptions on the season.
I
Everybody like
know.
after his like first or second week where everybody's like, oh, he's a turnover machine. He's had 3 total turnovers all season, so
Yeah,
he's protected the ball like unlike last year. Then he's got 211 rushing yards and 3 rushing touchdowns. So I feel like they're overperforming for what they should have done. I mean, they started 3-0 for one. I mean that was a shocker. I thought it was going to take some time, but Josh Allen right now I think definitely deserves the MVP, especially being a quarterback award. And last year
yeah.
we gave it to Lamar with mediocre
It,
quarterback
it
stats.
can't be Lamar this year,
Yeah,
and Lamar's playing good this year. Do not give it to Lamar.
but the big thing that is it comes to the offensive player of the year, which is Derrick Henry. You know,
Yeah,
you have Derrick Henry allows Lamar to play a lot better. Uh, there's not much to say. He's first in rushing yards, first in total rushing touchdowns. Uh, goes to a perfect setup.
there's nobody
Yeah,
even close. There's
yeah,
no question about it.
yeah. The next best running back maybe Saquon, but even then Saquon's not putting up numbers that he has.
Yeah,
Defensive player of the year.
I think TJ Watt could potentially be up there. Like he's the one I watched. There is that guy on the Packers who I watched it recently, and bro had like 6 interceptions already. I don't know if they're gonna give it to a cornerback
I think he's
or
a
if they ever
safety.
would. It's McKinney. McKinney had
Yeah,
like 6 picks.
yeah, yep.
And I don't know if they'd give it to a cornerback, but I don't see there's not any key pass rushers doing great. Miles Garrett had 3 sacks on the weekend, so it could totally be him. I think it's totally up in the air right now. I think honestly it's probably going to come down to those AFC North rushers. Honestly, it's just they always seem to be up there for it, especially now
Yeah,
that Hutch is down. So
yeah. I was coming into the season. I said T.J. Watt just because I think after last year, it's kind of like the whole like Joel Embiid, Jokic MVP thing. Kind of
yeah,
the wrong guy kind of got it at the time. After the first 4 or 5 weeks, I thought it was going to be Aiden Hutchinson. He gets hurt unfortunately. Right now, my defensive player of the year is Dexter Lawrence. He has been phenomenal at the defensive tackle
yeah,
position for the Giants. He's got 9 sacks, second highest in the league right now at defensive tackle. Like, he's putting up crazy numbers, 34 total tackles and 7 tackles for loss. Defensive tackle should not have 9 sacks 9 weeks through the
Yeah.
season. Like, he's doing very well. He's been a force to reckon.
I know.
That Giants team literally is an above average quarterback away from being in a good team.
Contender, yeah.
Yeah, right now I think Dexter Lawrence definitely deserves it for, he's not a pass rusher. He's not, he's a defensive tackle. Defensive tackles should not be number 2 in sacks in the season.
Yeah.
And the last guy that was putting up double digit sacks at defensive tackle won it 3 times. So, and his name was Aaron
Yeah.
Donald. So the thing with the Giants though is they're losing games. You gotta get closer to 500. You gotta compete a little bit better. But I think Dexter Lawrence probably deserves it more right now, just out of
It's such a
kind of
toss up for that
yeah.
because edge rushers aren't playing as good as they usually are. So it's like, where can you go? But
Offensive the rookie of the year. I think we both know it. Jaden Daniels,
yeah,
6-2 record, 13th in passing yards, 18th in passing touchdowns, 459 rushing yards, 4 rushing touchdowns. Dude is playing way better than anybody expected. The Commanders as a team are playing better than expected. Being 6-2 as a rookie is not an easy thing to do, especially with some of the teams that they've played and beaten. I had Caleb Williams coming into the season just because I was like, well, Caleb Williams will make those those 2 or 3 big plays and everybody's going to be down his throat. But
yeah.
I think Jaden Daniels has it, and it's not even close.
He just looks so comfortable.
Yeah,
Like I don't think I've seen somebody in a while come out and look as comfortable. I mean, CJ Stroud was amazing last year, and I think even Jaden Daniels almost looks better, as good, or maybe even better. Like he just looks he looked comfortable from the day one, from the
yeah.
jump. So
Everything's fluent with
definitely
him.
gonna give it to him.
He's
Yeah,
and he's doing the one thing that everybody was worried about was he's not running and putting himself in harm's way. He's sliding. He's getting out of bounds. He's not taking those hits. I know he had that one hit to the ribs, but it's not something that he could really control. Those type of things.
yeah.
Right now, it's his to lose. I don't name another.
The only person who could come up to him would be Neighbors, and Neighbors would have to go off, and I mean
Yeah,
off, because he's already having a good season. And I bet Jaden Daniels' odds for it are probably in the negative. Like
yeah. I don't
they're
even know
not.
what the odds.
There's nobody else you would put up there. It's either him or Neighbors, and he's got a Neighbors by
Yeah,
a landslide.
yeah. Brian Thomas Jr. is probably up there, but again, you
It's
they
not
have a lot to
close.
take. Defensive rookie of the year.
Um, I'm between Peyton Wilson and Jared Verse.
Yeah, I went with Jared Verse just because I think he has been the spark for that Rams defense. I guess like he has been like
Yeah,
that guy for him. He's got 33 total tackles, which through 9 games, and I don't think he even. I think the first couple games he didn't even like start or anything, and he's got 3.5 sacks, 1 forced fumble. I think out of all of the like defensive rookies, he leads in most of all those categories. So he's looked good, looked very good.
yeah.
Putting pressure on the quarterback. I don't know. After last year, when Jalen Carter probably should have got it, and Jared Verse should probably get it this year if he keeps it up. But then you got like you were like a guy like Peyton Willis just sliding in there all of a sudden and taking it because the
He looks
Steelers are.
so good on. He just looks so good everywhere.
Well,
I
the
mean,
Steelers
it's
probably are going to have a better record. Those those are
mm,
the things that you're going to get watched more. You're going to get seen more. People want to see what the Steelers are doing because Russ is in at quarterback now. Like those type of like with that, so more eyes are going to be on him compared to Jared Verse, where
yeah,
the Rams are.
terrible. They're always
They're
iffy.
not terrible, but because right now they're competing. I mean, that division's kind of up in the air for anybody still. But
The Rams are the team you watch to get drunk because they just make you sad. It's every week you think they're gonna win, they wind up losing.
that's true.
They lose to the Cardinals by 30 points
Yeah,
in
and
a
then they
game they
beat and then
probably
they
should
beat
have
the
won.
Vikings. Yeah. I get
Yeah.
it. Then coach of the year.
Definitely Dan Quinn.
I said Sean Payton over Dan Quinn, but Dan Quinn's my number two.
Sean Payton,
Just because the
that Broncos team's gonna die. They're gonna die right
yeah,
where
but
they
if
are
it's
right
if
now.
but if it's the season were to end in day, I would say Sean Payton. They're 5-4. They have a winning record. I think their over under on the season for wins was 4. You know, like the Commanders have a way better roster. Jaden Daniels was a highly sought quarterback coming out of the draft.
Yeah,
He was looked at higher than clearly. He was the number 2 overall pick.
yeah, number two.
Yeah, number 2 overall pick and the number 11 overall pick. Like, there's going to be a difference here. Bo Nix had a rough first 2 weeks, but the Broncos team itself is playing way better than they probably should be. I think Dan
Yeah,
Quinn probably wins it ultimately as long as the Commanders, win 10 games. I think he'll probably win it. But unless the
I mean, it's
Broncos.
just you look at the Broncos and you go, who have they played? Who have they played? They played the Panthers. They did not do nothing special to the Panthers. Let's just put it that way. They beat the Bucks,
They beat
which
the
I
Jets
think
in rain, and their quarterback threw a
the
terrible.
Jets missed because Greg Zuerlein's old and they need a new kicker.
Hey, they still won, right?
But
They beat the
um,
they lost to the Seahawks, lost to the Steelers, beat the Buccaneers,
but yeah, one of those Baker
fucking
Mayfield throwaway games.
destroyed the Buccaneers, beat the Jets, beat the Raiders, who have been competitive. Chargers won, Broncos beat the Saints, and then they beat the Panthers, and then they got destroyed by the Ravens. But hear me out, they're doing better than they should be.
And you watch that Ravens game and you go, oh, look, the Broncos might be able to beat the Ravens. Oh, just kidding.
Yeah,
The
the
Broncos
first the
suck.
first quarter, it's like, wow, this is very competitive, and then just everything went to shit.
Absolutely nothing.
Yeah, no, I think Dan Quinn probably wins it in the long run at this point. The way the Commanders have been playing, they still got to play the Eagles. I don't know what the rest of their schedule looks like, but they get to 10 wins, probably gonna get it.
Yeah.
And then lastly, the comeback player of the year.
Oh, who? um, I'm trying to even think. Who?
Mine's
Some
Kirk.
people were.
I would say it's Kirk Cousins right now.
Um, yeah, it's Kirk Cousins or
Joe Burrow is probably a close second.
it'd be. Oh, I forgot about Burrow getting hurt last year. If
I
Burrow has been balling. I mean,
yeah,
Burrow's got. I
I
think
would
he's probably in touchdown passes right now.
I'd give it. I just give it to Kirk just because they're winning games. They're not losing.
Yeah, that's fair. I
That's
honestly, I would agree with Kirk. Kirk's
yeah.
probably.
I think Kirk's the first one, and then Burrow could overtake it. I mean, if they finish even close to 500, which right now they're what 4-5 or something like that. If
They're gonna win games and
yeah,
pick back up. That
I
team's too
I
damn
think
good
Burrow has probably closer, better numbers, but I think they're very similar. But I think the record's the deciding factor for that.
for sure.
And then we're gonna do fantasy MVPs. I'm just gonna go through mine, and you can agree and not agree. I don't care. First one is Derrick Henry going in the second round. He's RB1.
My king.
The thing that I hate is I drafted ETN over him, and I knew after I did that it was at the draft. I did it, and I was like, I should have drafted Derrick Henry because I knew I was gonna hate the decision after I did it, and I did it, and here I am. I could have Derrick Henry on my team.
But I got him and JT, and we've been rolling.
JT's been 3
Dude,
weeks without
JT's
it.
sold and made me tie on Sunday.
Hey, a tie's better than a loss.
Yeah, and I get Nico Collins back this week.
My next one is Joe Mixon. He's RB14. He was drafted in round 5-6, area. Like
Yeah,
hardly nobody wanted to touch him, and I finally was like, I'll take him,
I
I
don't
guess.
I don't know why because I mean I know it was probably going to be the Texans were going to be a pass heavy team, and
But it
they've shown
hasn't.
that. But
It's
Mixon's good.
but what's crazy is Stephon Diggs and Nico Collins were both top 10 in receiving yards, but Joe Mixon's still going off and balling out. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, Joe Mixon being an RB 14, and I think that clearly that's only because he missed, what, 1 week, 2 weeks? He missed a couple games.
3.
Yeah, if he
He
would have.
missed at least. He missed, I think, after week 1. He didn't come back until week 5 or something like that.
Yeah, so,
Because
yeah, because he sat on my IR spot forever or whatever, just out and
yeah,
couldn't play him. Yeah, if he just stayed healthy, he'd probably be a top 5 running back. If
100%.
probably 2 or 3, honestly. I have Devon Achane, RB9 right now. Went in the round. He was going around what 2-3 roughly.
Something like that. Yeah.
I think a lot of people were worried to draft him just solely because of the rotational backfield.
I wasn't gonna risk it again.
Yeah, right now he's been panning out. He's stayed relatively healthy. He is a large part of the run game. Another running back. I know I'm sucks. Sorry, but running backs are a big value in fantasy. Saquon Barkley being RB3, one of the first rounders, actually returning their value right now. You got JJ, Garrett Wilson, maybe depending on your league, because I drafted Garrett Wilson first round. Saquon Barkley, I think those are the big 3 that were most likely drafted in the first round. They're actually returning your value. Breece Hall finally started to pick it up a little bit.
Breece Hall got like 10 points last week.
Yeah, it's not been good, but
He's sad.
then you got him, Brock Bowers, tight end number 1. He was going 6th round and beyond. I mean, some leagues.
I just want people to know they were hating on my pick of Brock Bowers, and I just want you to know, suck it.
Yeah,
Bro.
you drafted him in the 6th round, and I'm like, Austin, what the hell are you doing? Because he wasn't going until like the 9th or 10th round in most leagues.
You gotta look at it though. That guy is so versatile.
I understand that, but it was just they have Devontae Adams, like they have Jacoby Myers who is doing well. Like it just was.
FYI, this is the same guy that didn't like the Nico Collins pick. So
where's he been? Where's Nico Collins been for you?
You went from
you went to undefeated. You went to undefeated, lost 2 games in a row, and you just said you tied last week. You literally haven't won a game in 3 weeks because of Nico Collins. So don't even give me that.
I won 2 games without Nico Collins.
Okay, but you've lost 3. You've basically not won 3 without him. So fuck off. Okay,
it's okay.
It hasn't been a good pick. Maybe the first 4 weeks, but all right, it's fallen off for you hard. And then lastly, I think this is a big one, is Jane Daniels. He's currently quarterback 3. He was going that 9th, 10th round, depending on average. I thought he was going to be good, but not that good.
23 points projected is absurd.
25 was one, I think week 5 or 6 was projected 25 points. I think now his average is like 22, 23 projected, but 25 is that's crazy. That's unheard of.
Disgusting.
I have him in the 2 quarterback league, and man, him and K1 or him and Matthew Stafford have been a great lineup for me.
He's my sleeper league quarterback, and I've been actually cooking in that league. So
nice. Moving on for pick'ems.
We have to make my pick'ems.
We got 4. We got 4 college games. All notate yours down. Marcus is just going to take whatever I take, just because he's not here. So we have number 17 Iowa State versus number 0. I guess Kansas isn't ranked. Iowa State's favored by 3.
Give me them Jayhawks.
Kansas. All right, I'm making Marcus take Iowa State just because we're Iowa boys. Then keeping it in Iowa. Iowa plays UCLA. Iowa's favored by -6.5.
Give me Iowa.
This is gonna be crazy. They play in Cali at UCLA at 8:00. So that's gonna be a fun.
What the hell?
Well, the Big Ten. You added those West Coast teams, so it changed.
So bizarre.
You had the Pac-12 at night. You had the Pac-12 at night. And now you got the Big Ten at night.
They just dropped the bracket. It's gonna be. It's like a Boise playing Ohio State in the first round. Like, I don't care how good Genty is, they probably get murdered.
Well, yeah, because it's how it works. Is the four, uh, like big Power Four conference because the Pac-12 doesn't count this year.
Yeah.
Whoever wins their conference is 1 to 4, which the Big 12 is going to be number 4,
Yeah.
and then number 12 automatically goes to like the next like highest or rated conference, which I had Liberty this year, but
Mhm.
Boise State's been phenomenal. So I
Yeah.
guess, which whatever you want to give that a team like that a chance to play.
I hate the idea of the playoff because it's like you give your so probably more about money and entertainment, right? Obviously. But between the one in playing the four and the two playing the three, there was still blowouts.
Yeah.
So how are
Well,
you going to
and
play
like this
that two
year,
seed?
what's the? Let me pull it up real quick. I guess I don't know why I didn't bring that up. I'm glad that you brought it up before we move any further. College football playoff.
There's going to be so many blowouts. It's
Yeah. So right now, it's not giving me what I want. I want the bracket.
I
Okay.
might be
So
able to
right
find.
now, Indiana would play Tennessee. Ohio State would play Boise State. Texas would play Bama, and Penn State would play Notre Dame. Which Texas already played Bama, and we all know the result of that. I think Texas has looked weaker though, so I think Bama might be a sleeper pick, like coming into that lower
Yeah.
seed, just because I think like teams like Texas have not played like they did at the beginning of the season. Then you'd come and play Miami, who I think you have Cam Ward, but I think you could still win that. Penn State, Notre Dame. Again, we talked about that a little bit. They're basically the same team, blazing each other. Then you got to play
Yeah.
Georgia, which Georgia has not looked good, but they've blown out teams.
They'll still whoop on you any given
Ohio
Saturday.
State
So,
plays Boise State. The being in the 5 position is the perfect spot. You play the number 12 team at home,
mhm.
and then you go and get to play the Big 12 team, which right now is BYU. I will take playing Boise State and then BYU over
Is
playing.
BYU getting a bye?
Yeah, because they would win the. They're projected to win the Big 12.
Okay. Wow.
The top four get
It's
buys,
Ohio State's gonna have a walk. I mean,
and
so
then they
Boise.
and then they would most likely, if Indiana and Tennessee play, I'm going to take probably Tennessee over Indiana. Then Oregon plays Tennessee. Oregon's probably going to win. Then you'd have another Ohio State Oregon matchup, which that game was actually close. You'd have Penn State play Notre Dame. Whoever wins that would play Georgia.
And get smacked.
I think Notre Dame probably has the better chance of actually winning that game compared to Penn State, but Georgia still probably pulls it out. Then you got Georgia probably. I think Miami would actually win between Texas and Alabama. So then you have Georgia, Miami.
Georgia
It's
goes
gonna
back into
change. It's
that.
all gonna change next week when if BYU loses, if Boise State loses, like if any of these
Hmm.
teams lose, it's all gonna fucking change.
Yeah,
That's why
it's
I
all just projections.
That's why I don't like these projections coming out. I clearly as a fan I
There's still
like them
4 weeks
because
left, right?
yeah, we get to talk about
Plus
it and we get to
conference.
enjoy it. Like we get to enjoy it and project. But like if Bama loses again, Bama's done. Bama's out.
Yeah, they should be
Uh,
at least.
Texas is a one-loss team. If they lose again, or yeah, Texas, Ohio State, like these guys are one-loss teams. Depending on who they lose to, they might fall to the number 11 spot or even out, and you start bringing in those like SMU's who are one-loss teams, like bringing them in. So yeah, we'll see. I just
It's the bracket. The bracket to me is just so bizarre because how are you going to bring in a team like SMU who is not playing SEC opponents to go play an SEC opponent to just get smacked? It's
yeah. The only thing that I have to say to that is, I love the only thing that's keeping me optimistic about this is I love March Madness. I
yeah.
love the fairy tales and the all that, which football is a little bit different for that, but It's football. I'll still watch it. It doesn't matter. Even
Yeah,
if
100%.
I'm gonna, I watch TCU and Michigan and Washington and all these blowouts. I'll live with another blowout between these games if it happens, because blowouts are
Yeah.
always going to happen. But
What
this
can
is
we
going to be
do?
completely different in the next 4 or 5 weeks. And then we have two top 25 matchups. We have number 2 Georgia plays number 16 Ole Miss. Georgia is favored by 2.5.
Um, Give me Georgia. Ole Miss never shows up against good opponents. So
I'm going to take Georgia too. Oh, I took Iowa, and Georgia, and then Marcus is going to take Georgia. And then last we have number 11 Bama, number 14 LSU. Bama is favored by -2.5.
Bama's got to win. There's there's no doubt, but it's not going to be a blowout by any means.
So I'm picking LSU. I think LSU at home can do it. I guess with those pickups, I forgot to bring up. I'm 22-15. I went 2-2 last week. Marcus is 20-17, and he went 0-4 last week. I'm purposely making Marcus have the same 4 picks as me, so that if I go down, he goes down, so I can stay ahead of him.
Nice.
Smart with that. And then NFL pick'ems. We currently have. I'm 87-51. I went 12-3 last week. Marcus is 97-50. That's not adding up right.
Math's the
I
tough
don't
thing
think
too.
I. Hold on. I think I messed it up.
Terrible, just terrible.
148 games. Is that how many games have already been played?
Probably, give or take.
Oh,
Well, averaging about what, 16 a week over 9 weeks.
well, because you have to consider the bye. I'm pretty sure I just didn't add mine up right. So I think I'm. Because we're 10 game different there, so we got to be 10 game different. Okay, so I would be 81-61. Sorry. And then he's 97-51. Okay.
Wow.
All right, we're good. Marcus is basically whatever I pick. Marcus is picking this week. He told me so. Let's go with that. So Thursday night game we have Cincinnati at Baltimore, 8:15.
Yeah, give me the Ravens. The
You're gonna take the
Ravens.
Ravens. All right, I'll write that down. I and Marcus are taking the Bengals. They have
The
to win.
Bengals have to win that game, but I just don't. I don't see them stopping Derrick Henry like they did in the last time, and Lamar balled out last time. It
Yeah.
was a close game, so it should be entertaining.
No. Give me the Cincy. They have to win. They have to win. And Joe Burrow will make it happen somehow. Next Sunday, November 10th, my birthday. Keep in mind. Uh, the Giants play at Carolina.
Oh, such a sleeper. Don't wake up early on Sunday. It's going to be an ugly game.
Oh yeah, this is the last
Um,
international game. 9:30 Eastern
I
time.
just want to know whoever's made this game deserves to bad things.
They they hate the international people. They're like, hey, we're gonna bring the Giants and the Carolina Panthers over for you to
A
watch.
combined record of like what? The Giants won 2 games, three,
4 and
4-5. I don't know. Give me the Giants though. I just such a trash game.
Giants are 2-7, so the Panthers are 2-7. So 4-14. You took the Giants.
Yeah, these people are going to the game like, oh, this is gonna be such a great game. Imagine buying the tickets though before you knew who was going to be playing.
Yeah,
Like say they scheduled the location and then come to find out you're you're watching Bryce Young versus Danny Dime.
yeah. No, I'm taking the Giants. The Giants defense has been good. Danny Dimes has not been like as bad as he has been, but Tyron
Yeah.
Trace, you get the ball to Tyron Tracy, get the ball to Malik Neighbors, get it to your playmakers, and you're gonna win games. I felt like they haven't. We're gonna give the ball to Darius Slayton. We're gonna get it to fucking Malik Neighbors or Tyron Tracy.
They need to spread the ball out. That's what they need to do.
Let him
They
make
can't favor one.
let him
So
make some magic.
yeah.
Next game, 12 o'clock game, or I guess 1 p.m. Eastern time. New England Patriots at the Chicago Bears.
Um, I think the Patriots defense eats Caleb Williams alive, and then it's about if Drake May can score the ball. I honestly want to go Patriots.
You're gonna take the Pats.
Yeah.
I took the Bears at home. They gotta figure it out, I guess. I don't know. I'm not buying into that DJ Moore. Oh, he walked off the field hype. Blah blah. Like he was excited that Caleb Williams was there. I get you're frustrated with losing, but as a
Yeah.
team, you're not gonna just DJ
You know
Moore's.
there's going to be growing pains with the
Yeah,
quarterback.
exactly.
So,
Um, next we have Buffalo at Indianapolis.
the Bills. The
Yeah,
Bills.
give me and Marcus Buffalo. Buffalo's just too hot, too good.
Yeah.
We got Denver at Kansas City, undefeated Kansas City still. Fucking nightmare.
KC whoops them.
Yeah,
I just picked up the Chiefs defense, so I need
I
them
took the
to.
Chiefs too, dude. Looking at the Chiefs schedule, they might go undefeated.
That'd be gross. That'd be
Like
absolutely
the
disgusting.
only team that I think that might give them like they play the Bills, which depending like I feel like the Bills could beat them, but the Bills never beat them. Like that's the thing is the Bills
Yeah.
should beat them, but never
Mahomes
do.
finds a way.
The Chargers, their defense is playing the best their defense has played in years, and their offense has been very good, but it gets stagnant because they don't have that true wide receiver one. But I feel like the Chargers could pull off a win this year, but just how history has gone, I think that the Chiefs could realistically go undefeated this year.
I think they have two tough opponents left, and I think it's the Bills and the Steelers. And I just think it's
Yeah,
mainly off of defense. And now the Steelers' offense is actually producing. Like,
yeah, they still play the Steelers too. Yeah, there's 3 games that like they could possibly lose, but I just feel like
yeah,
how it goes is they'll
you
probably
could see it. You could definitely see them doing it.
the Chiefs there. Then we got Atlanta at New Orleans. I'm taking the Falcons.
Yeah, the Falcons, 100%.
San
No
Fran
question.
at Tampa Bay. Give me San Francisco. Might get to see some
DMC back.
Might get to see some CMC. Don't know how much yet, but might be able to see some of it.
Definitely San Fran,
Yeah,
100%.
yeah. Tampa not having Mike Evans or Chris Godwin still just sucks so much.
I still hate that Chris Godwin injury. You were already gonna lose.
Yeah. I have Pittsburgh at the Washington Commanders.
I'm obviously gonna go Pittsburgh, but it's such a toss up.
Okay, hold on. I forgot to start writing yours down. See what Chiefs, Falcons. Man, I am
Not a good host today. You
no.
off? Bad day today or
I got
what?
49ers, and then we did Steelers. I also took the Steelers. Marcus and I are taking the Steelers. I think the defense comes down to it, and the Commanders' defense is not going to be doing what the Steelers' defense can do. And you have the speed to kind of keep Jaden Daniels in check if you absolutely need to.
Yeah, for sure. Just stick Peyton Wilson and a spy on him, bro.
Then we have Minnesota at Jacksonville.
I think the Vikings go in and put a stomping on them.
This is the week that the Vikings win and Doug Peterson finally gets fired. Give me the Vikings.
You think Dougie P gets fired?
Dude, he needs to get fired. If
I feel like Dougie P after like 3 or 4 years just decides to not be a good coach anymore.
We
It's
fired. We still have Nick Sirianni as our coach, and we fired Doug Peterson for less. Which, whatever. Then we
yeah,
have Tennessee at the Chargers.
the charges, no charges. Lad McConkey legacy game.
That and I think J.K. Dobbins has been running well. Chargers are looking. They just needed a head coach. The defense is playing like they should be. I'm gonna take the Chargers. Next game we have the 3:30 games or 4:25 games Eastern time. We have Philadelphia at Dallas. Give me Philly.
Oh, Philly. Yep. 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 Yep.
While we're doing that, how's your dad feeling about the Cowboys with everything that's been going on?
Oh, he's
I'm
every Cowboys fan. He's hating life.
I'm gonna have to text him and see if he wants to make a bet. It's my birthday, so I need the Eagles to win for me. So
Yeah, that would be a really good present for you for them to
yeah.
lose. I wanted
Otherwise,
them to lose so bad last weekend.
fuck you. All right. I root on the Steelers. I've talked highly about the Steelers, and you're out here like fuck that guy.
Well, because look at it, the Steelers actually have some hope. The Eagles are going to get first rounded 2 years in a row
Not
because they
this
need
year.
to get rid of Sirianni.
Not this year. Cooper DeJean.
Dude, don't we want some white cornerback?
Then we have New York Jets at Arizona Cardinals.
The Jets.
Could be the Jets. You should ask your dad to get you tickets and go to that game.
Watch my Devontae Adams go off. I could buy myself tickets to that game. What you talking about?
Yeah, take your dad. Be like, hey dad, let's go to a game. Then Sunday Night Football. We have the Detroit Lions at the Houston Texans.
Um, CJ Stroud hasn't been playing that great. I'm gonna go the Lions, especially with Jared Goff, 13-1 over like the last like 6 games.
Give me the
Um,
Lions. Houston can compete. They've had some tough losses. And those tough losses have been against teams they probably should have beaten. And Detroit's just so hot. Jared Goff and St. Brown have a 30 pass completion in a row right now. Like they're on fire
they're
together.
amazing.
Have fun stopping David Montgomery and Gibbs. You bring in Smith as a pass rusher now, and Houston still. You don't have Stephon Diggs. You might not have Nico Collins. He's still questionable to come back. Yeah, give me. Give me Joe
You know
Mixon a
what's
big day.
Yeah, you know what's been weird to me though is Jared Goff every year puts up like really good statistical stats, like almost like stat padding is what it seems like. Because
Hmm.
a lot of the times in games it was dumpster yards, like. But how has this guy never been up for the MVP? I mean,
Like 5 weeks into the
13 to
season, 5 weeks into the season, I had him, as my like one of my top three guys. But I feel like he's just kind of, even though they're winning, he's like kind of just filled
I mean
that
against
role.
the like last week they played who they play last week that they beat the Packers. He didn't do anything special against Packers. I think he did like 130 and a touchdown.
I think that's the big thing is why he's not doing anything special. He's just going in,
Well, yeah,
he's doing his job, and he goes home. Like
I
he's
mean 13 TDs to 1 interception though. I mean, and also he's had one of the highest completion percentages. But yeah, nothing special against Tennessee. He threw 30 yards and a touchdown, or like 2 touchdowns,
yeah. So he's
and they
got
won.
74.9 completion percentage, 1,800 passing yards, 14 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, 115 passer rating. Yeah, Tennessee had 85 passing yards for 3 touchdowns.
Dude, that lost me my fantasy week. It made me so sad.
Yeah, it's yeah. He's just not doing anything, you know,
Amazing, but they're winning.
amazing.
And
Yeah. And I think it's and like you look at it like guys that win MVP, Josh Allen, Lamar, Mahomes. If you were to throw a Jared Goff into that team, probably not doing
that's great.
as
Yeah.
great because guys like those three have to go and make plays. Josh Allen has to put his body on the line and scramble for that first down, or like things like that where you got Jameer Gibbs, David Montgomery, Amon St.
Yeah,
Brown, Sam
Jared Goff, he
Laporta,
just completes
Jamison
passes,
Williams.
honestly.
Yeah, exactly. He's doing what he needs to do, and I respect it. I respect it. He's had a better career than I thought he was going to. And then lastly, the Monday night game, we have the Miami Dolphins at the Los Angeles Rams.
Dolphins got to win eventually.
Dolphins are in that same like Jets scenario. You have to start winning out. The Rams have been very competitive though, so I'm gonna regret taking this pick, but it doesn't matter because it impacts Marcus more than me, or it impacts both of us. So I'm gonna take the Rams because they have been super competitive, despite like you just don't think they would be.
Yeah,
And I just even with Tua coming back, that offense just has not really been vibing in the past game. Like Achan is getting his points. Like it just the defense has been broken. You don't have Bradley Chubb. You lost a lot. The Rams defense has been playing better, and with Puka's whole issue, Puka getting
yeah,
ejected. Puka getting ejected. Yeah, it sucked for fantasy players, but basically got to sit and relax and not get hurt a whole game. So you get a fully healthy Puka, a fully healthy, not a limited snaps, questionable Puka. You got a fully healthy Puka, got a fully healthy Cooper Kupp, you got a fully healthy Kyron Williams, and Matthew Stafford hasn't been playing bad. So give me the Rams. Give me the Rams at home. I think they'll pull it off with.
yeah.
I think
I
Miami's
I could
the
totally see the game going either way, but there's a team there that needs to win. And the Rams can sneak into the NFC playoffs. If they lose this game, the Dolphins cannot. They need to win. There's no way the Dolphins make it in with. I think that they're 2-7 almost, or approaching that area. So you can't get into the AFC playoff without less than 10 wins. So
yeah. Yeah, Miami Dolphins are 2-6. The Jets are currently
yeah,
ahead of them. Yeah, right now the playoff
they
picture
need
would
to win.
be Chiefs, uh, Bills, Steelers, Texans. Then it would go Ravens and Chargers. Ravens, Chargers, Colts.
You know what's
Oh wait,
crazy
no.
is the
Ravens,
Steelers and the
Chargers.
Ravens.
No, no. Ravens, Chargers, Broncos. Sorry. Broncos have 5 wins, so they would be the number 7 seed so far.
The Steelers and the Ravens could both win 12 plus games and one of them be like a fifth seed.
Yeah.
That's what I find crazy to me.
Yeah. Well, the National Football League, we'd have the Lions 1, Commanders 2, the Falcons 3, the Cardinals 4. Now this is where things get iffy because the Eagles and Vikings haven't played. So Eagles 5, Vikings 6, or vice versa, 5
Ugh.
6, and then the Packers would be number 7.
What team was I just thinking of that's not in there? That's kind of shocking.
The 49ers.
Yeah, the 49ers are not in the playoffs.
They're currently 4-4, and the last place team is currently 6-3, the number 7 seed.
Yeah, I'm really happy I held on to Jawan Jennings in the fantasy league because I really need him to. They just need him to take off. So
Yeah, and right now the 49ers are third in the division. Like
that's disgusting.
that's
It's
very
that team is
shocking.
so good that it was obviously the clear favorite number one going into the year, and even without Ayuk, I think they can make their way back up to being the number one. But it's still going to wind up being them and the Lions. I don't think there's any team that competes with those two fully healthy.
I love that the
And
NFC South went to shit so fast. 6-3, 4-5, 2-7, 2-7. When like 2 years ago, like it's such a bad division. Like okay,
yeah,
so
it's
they're six and
atrocious.
three, 4-5, 2-7, 2-7. Then you have the AFC South 6-3, 4-5, 2-6, 2-7. Like they're just as bad. Like both. But then the AFC East is terrible this year. 7-2, 3-6, 2-6. Like the Bills right now are running away with that division. I thought a couple weeks ago the Jets still had a chance, but
I
I
mean, yeah, the Bills they've taken it, and we had an idea that the Bills were
right
going to take the
right now
division.
the AFC West is the best, is the second best division in football. 8-0, 5-3, 5-4 compared to 7-1, 6-2, 6-3. Like,
Who's that division?
that's the Lions, Vikings, Packers, and then the AFC West is 8-0, 5-3, 5-4. Then I'd probably go with the NFC West being 5-4, 4-4, 4-4, 4-5. Probably a little bit. I'd probably take that over the 6-2, 6-3, 4-5, 2-7,
Yeah,
just because you're more averaged out, I guess. Um, yeah,
it's a toss up for those. It's so
but the thing is that the Bengals are better for sure than
it's just Burrows. They don't play him during
yeah
the preseason. He's no time to get back into it, and we're talking about a guy who missed what 10 games.
yeah. Well, then you
He
also
got
had
hurt fairly
that
early.
defense kind of was slow. They didn't have who did it was either Hendricks or Hubbard. They didn't have from the get go.
I think Hubbard.
Yeah, one of
It
those
had to
two
have
was
been, I think it was
injured, and
Hubbard.
now he's back, and they've been playing a lot better.
Well,
Um,
Hendrickson's apparently on pace to get like 21 sacks, not 21 snacks, 21 sacks. I don't see that happening, but that would be kind of crazy.
yeah, his stats right now. Let me pull them up.
Probably has like 10 sacks, something like that, 10 and a half.
Yeah, he's currently sitting at 9 games played, so he wasn't injured. He's got 11 sacks in
11
9 weeks.
sacks. Yeah, wow.
So in 8 games, he
Yeah.
could get another 10. Yeah, one sack, basically one sack per game for the rest of the year. Or whatever. He's got eight
Something you should
games.
expect from somebody of that caliber,
Yeah, he's got eight
almost.
games to get 10 sacks, and he's had
Yeah,
11. He's had 11 tackles for loss, which he leads the league in. He's another
wow.
sneaky potential player
He
of the
gets
year
sacks
candidate.
though. He doesn't do anything more with them. I
Yeah,
mean, sacks are big things, but like if you're not, you got to be. I mean, eleven
he's
sacks
got three
and
pass
11
deflections
TFLs.
and one forced fumble too. So, I
He does.
mean,
He's a sleeper. You don't hear anybody talking about him.
yeah, if the Bengals turn it
Um,
around, he might be a guy that kind of sneaks into that. He's been a Pro Bowler the last 3 years. He might sneak into that defensive player of the year
I don't know.
spot.
Hendrick taps out at like 12, 13 max. I don't see him doing that for
Oh,
the rest of the
12,
year.
13 max. He's gone 17 and a half, 14 and 13 and a half.
Seriously?
Yeah.
You don't hear anybody talk about Trey Hendricks though.
Yeah, because you have Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and Joe Burrow on your fucking team. When you're
Fair.
Max Crosby and you're the best player on your team now, they're going to talk about you. When you're Myles Garrett and you're the best player on the team, when you're T.J. Watt, who probably is the best player on your team, you're going to talk about him.
You don't hear anybody. It's very rare that you hear people or they're not going crazy over him anymore now, which is
Well,
nice to hear for
yeah,
once.
because your offense is finally actually doing something. But I mean, all of last year it was that defense and T.J. Watt.
Yep,
But all right, thanks for joining us for the newest
of
episode.
course.
You're always our key. You're like I said, you're our Aaron Rodgers of Two Drug Guys. Whenever we need you, you'll be on. Hopefully Marcus is back next week. I think we're gonna have a guest next week too, and then get back on track. Let's keep this bad betting going. I think that'll be big, and I will be celebrating my birthday this weekend. So
I'm gonna put that parlay up. I'm gonna be sports betting this weekend. So
yeah, yeah. The one week you do it, it's not gonna hit. Just watch. And
yeah,
then next, again, Moose's Beard Company. I've had a beard since high school, so over roughly 10 years. Makes it
Sam.
own, all natural, works good. I like it. I don't have it in currently because I showered and coached. So, but it's good product, good price. Use that discount. Follow the link that we have down below. Y'all have a great Thursday, technically, because it releases. Cheers. You're not drinking anything. I get to chug by
Sayonara.
myself.